Hello everyone, I'm Joker Clown and welcome back to another video. Now, this one's going to be a bit different because this one is a lore video and it will be discussing the backstory and, well, basically the story of Andrew Ryan and how he became to be, well, the leader of Rapture or the governor of Rapture in better terms. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the story of Andrew Ryan. Andrei Rianofski was born in a village near Minsk, which is now modern-day Belarus, under the rule of Tsar Nicholas II. Now, the date of Andrew Ryan's birth is not specific, but there is a guarantee that it is between 1894 and 1917, so I'll just assume that during the events of Bioshock, so 1960, Andrew Ryan is 59, so I'll assume that he was born in 1901. After the Russian Revolution of 1917, which led to the Bolshevik Party rising to power, which then led to the oppression of Soviet citizens, Andrei Rianofski fled to America, establishing a more Western name of Andrew Ryan. When Andrew Ryan arrived in America, he believed that capitalism was the key to a perfect society, hence why he loved and adored the American dream. However, Ryan's admiration and devotion to America began to decline in the 1930s after the Great Depression. Then, Franklin D. Roosevelt instituted social democratic policies to relieve the social problems being faced in America. Ryan, being disgusted from any sort of socialism following his experiences in the Soviet Union, saw the policies of the New Deal as a gateway to the Bolshevism practiced by the Soviets, and believed that anyone who benefited from the work of others were, in his words, parasites. After the events of the bombing of Hiroshima, Ryan lost all faith in the United States of America, seeing the creation of the bomb as a distortion of his ideals. Now hell-bent on making a society where the parasites will not be able to enter, he decided to build Rapture, a city at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and the sole reason for being there is so that the parasites cannot touch it. It was to be a city where, in his words, the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And from this, Ryan chose his citizens to enter, those who are of great minds, those who can think and create without the restraint of the parasites being in their ear. From the completion of Rapture, 1946, to 1958, Rapture was everything Ryan envisioned it to be, a place free from government control, free from the parasites, and nothing to do with free markets. Not long before this, Dr. Bridget Tenenbaum had discovered that a sea slug had bitten a veteran's hand before it was crippled and basically useless, but then after he was bitten by the slug, it magically healed. So Bridget thought of a way to enhance the probability of gaining more Adam, possibly 10, 20 or even 30 times the yield of what the slug could handle. So, Andrew Ryan thought this was a perfect business opportunity, something to open up the plasmid market. But unbeknownst to Ryan, plasmids would eventually be the downfall of Rapture. Now, this would tie in to the Rapture Civil War, and just because it's so big and so long-winded, which isn't a bad thing, mind you, I just won't have time to discuss it on this video, which then means I'll have to do a video of the entire Rapture Civil War by itself. But all you need to know is that a former fishery owner, Frank Fontaine, now benefited from the mistakes of Rapture and then entered, or well, established, I should say, Fontaine's Home for the Poor, which basically led to his own sort of crime gang, and then, in turn, smuggled in goods. So then, Ryan just wanted to get rid of Frank Fontaine, and then there was this big rivalry between Fontaine Futuristics and Ryan Industries. After Frank Fontaine was seemingly killed in a shootout with Sullivan, the chief of security, Ryan thought it was happy days. But then a new problem arose. Atlas, a sort of revolutionary, a freedom fighter if you will, whose goal was to free Rapture's reign from Andrew Ryan. but he knew he couldn't do it alone. Even with all of his gang and all of Frank Fontaine's gang, no, he had an ace in the hole, Jack. Now, spoilers for Bioshock 1. Please do not enter if you have not played through the entirety of Bioshock 1. I am warning you. Do not proceed if you have not finished Bioshock 1. But if you're not interested in finishing the game or have already finished it, then there'll be a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Jack is Andrew Ryan's son. He was born in 1956, and Frank Fontaine and Bridget Tenenbaum and Yisu Chong managed to psychologically control him with the phrase, "Would you kindly?" Originally, Andrew Ryan thought Jack was a part of the KGB, or an agent of the CIA, but after Jack exited Arcadia safely, he quickly made the assumption that Jack might be working with Atlas. So then he put 2 and 2 together, and then quickly figured out, oh snap, he's using "would you kindly" as a code phrase. And then even quickly figured out that Jack is actually his son. Andrew Ryan, having another belief that a man chooses, a slave obeys, figures out that Atlas is the man and Jack is a slave, so essentially you, the player, are just a slave of the game. So he uses this knowledge to force you to kill him, force his son to kill his dad, which is probably the saddest thing imaginable. Like, you don't want to do it, you know he's your dad, but you can't not do it. That's probably the saddest of all. But obviously, thus ending the story of Andrew Ryan. He was born in what I can assume 1901 and died in 1960. His belief had come true for the majority of Rapture's lifespan. But, as they say, a few bad apples spoil the bunch. Thus ending the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please hit the like button. And if you really loved it, hit subscribe. There'll be more videos of this, hopefully, but then again, I do post videos that are seemingly random, so if you're not expected to see them, well then don't worry about pressing the subscribe button. If you didn't like it, well then press the dislike button. It doesn't affect me in the slightest, and hopefully I'll see you guys later, so goodbye. And before I leave, I just want to let you know that if you want to know Andrew Ryan's story in greater detail, there will be a link in the description of this video. So if you want to know a lot more about Andrew Ryan's story, please check it out. I didn't go into much detail at all here. I just told you basically just the essentials that not everyone would know. But if you want to know a lot more, once again, link in the description.